Emily's phone buzzed at 3 a.m., the harsh glow slicing through her dark room like a blade. Daniel said, "We need to talk," and the words shattered the silence, colder than the midnight air. Her pulse raced as though the message itself were a betrayal. She whispered, "Not now, not like this," but her voice drowned inside the emptiness. Weeks of silence had carved wounds deeper than she could admit, yet she had clung to hope like a fragile thread. Tonight, that thread frayed. Tears blurred the screen, and her heart screamed questions she feared answers to. Was he alone? Was Chloe there? The phone lay heavy, glowing with secrets, burning her palm like a scar. She wished for Daniel's voice, for warmth across the miles, but all she had was that merciless text. The night felt endless, the world unsteady, and Emily knew something inside her was breaking. Emily couldn't stop replaying the text in her mind, each word echoing like a cruel bell. Daniel had been distant for weeks, his replies shorter, his voice colder. Emily whispered, "Why now? Why tonight?" Her heart raced with dread. The room was suffocating, silence pressed against her chest. She thought of Chloe, the coworker Daniel often mentioned casually, too casually. Every memory of Daniel's laughter now stung with suspicion. Emily's faith in their love, once unshakable, wavered dangerously. She remembered the promises, the late-night calls, the whispered dreams of forever. They seemed hollow now, like paper burned at the edges. "I've given everything," she thought, gripping her phone tighter. Her body trembled, not from cold but from the storm inside. Emily knew distance was cruel, but she never imagined it could kill the warmth she had clung to so desperately. Emily's phone buzzed again, but this time no new message came. Just a phantom vibration, her own fear mocking her. She muttered, "I can't breathe," pacing the tiny room. Every step felt heavy, dragging memories behind her. She remembered Daniel's smile when they first met, the spark that made her believe in love across oceans. Now his silence screamed louder than words. She wished Michael were awake. He always told her truths she didn't want to hear. She feared he'd say, "It's over, Emily. Let it go." She bit back a sob, clutching her stomach as if holding herself together. Phone lay on the bed, a cruel beacon. Emily stared at it, praying for a call, a voice, a reason to keep believing. But all she had was silence. The rain outside grew heavier, drumming against the window like impatient fingers. Emily sat on the floor, back against her bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. She whispered, "I can't lose him," though part of her already knew she had. Daniel's words echoed endlessly. "We need to talk." Talk meant endings. Talk meant truths she wasn't ready to face. She thought of Mrs. Carter's disapproving voice, reminding her love couldn't survive distance. Emily once defied her, saying, "Oceans mean nothing when hearts are loyal." Now those words felt like ash. Every shadow in the room pressed closer, whispering doubt. She clenched her fists, nails digging into palms, grounding herself against despair. For the first time, Emily questioned whether love had betrayed her. The clock struck 3:15 a.m., its ticking slicing through silence like a cruel metronome. Emily stared at her phone, praying for another message. Nothing came. She whispered, "Say something, Daniel," her voice breaking. The waiting was torture, worse than any confession. She imagined him with Chloe, laughing, forgetting the promises he made. Emily shook her head violently, whispering, "No, he loves me. He has to." Yet doubt was relentless, a shadow crawling through her chest. She pressed her palm to her heart, trying to steady it, but the ache deepened. She thought of the nights Daniel promised forever, of the stars they once counted together across distance. Tonight, forever felt shattered. Emily's tears fell freely now, hot rivers of grief. For the first time, she feared his love could not survive the miles. Emily sat at her small kitchen table, staring at her untouched cup of tea, as dawn crept through the blinds. She whispered, "You said love was stronger than distance, Daniel." The memory of his voice from a year ago filled her chest with warmth and pain all at once. She remembered those nights when they laughed across time zones, Daniel saying, "Close your eyes, and I'll be beside you." She believed him, clung to those words like a lifeline. Every sacrifice made sense then. She skipped parties, ignored suitors, rearranged her entire life around late-night calls. Friends told her she was foolish, but she told them, "Love is worth waiting for." Michael once sighed and said, "Emily, you're living in his shadow." She had brushed him off, unwilling to admit the truth. Now the silence was suffocating. The screen was empty, her heart heavy, yet her hope whispered stubbornly, "He'll come back. He has to." Later that morning, Emily sat in the library, books spread before her, but none of the words reached her mind. She remembered when Daniel once told her, "Study hard, I'll be proud of you," and she worked tirelessly just to hear that pride in his voice. Now she whispered, "I did all this for us," tracing circles on the page. She thought of Mrs. Carter's warnings, "Distance breaks hearts, not builds them." But Emily had answered defiantly then, "Love doesn't obey geography." Her chest ached at the memory of her own conviction. Around her, students laughed, whispered, lived in the same city, while she sat waiting for texts from across the ocean. Michael's voice echoed in her mind, "Emily, you're building castles in the sky." She clenched her pen, tears threatening, yet she refused to let go. Hope was all she had, fragile and fierce. That evening, Emily walked alone through the park, autumn leaves crunching beneath her shoes. She remembered the time Daniel said, "When we finally meet again, I'll take you here, we'll hold hands." She smiled faintly, tears burning her eyes. She whispered, "I still believe in us." Children played nearby, their laughter sharp against the ache in her chest. She envied the closeness around her, couples holding hands, leaning into warmth. She thought of Chloe again, too close to Daniel, too present in his daily life. "She has what I don't," Emily muttered, bitterness curling inside. Yet her heart resisted the thought, choosing hope over despair. Michael's advice echoed, "Don't lose yourself waiting." But Emily whispered back, "He's worth it." Her heart was chained, her resolve unbroken, though the miles stretched like an endless desert. At home, Emily lay on her bed scrolling through old messages, each line a memory carved into her soul. Daniel once wrote, "Forever, no matter the miles." She whispered, "Forever isn't supposed to end." The glow of the screen painted her face with sorrow. Every "I love you" replayed in her mind, and she wondered if he still meant them. She remembered staying awake until 4 a.m. for his calls, whispering secrets while her world slept. That was their rhythm, their fragile eternity. But now, silence replaced the music of his voice. She thought of Michael, who said, "You're breaking yourself for someone who isn't here." She wanted to scream, "He is here," but even her voice faltered. The bed felt colder than ever, and Emily curled into herself, clinging to her phone as if it could warm her heart. On Sunday, Emily sat with Michael at a quiet cafe, the air thick with roasted coffee and unspoken words. Michael leaned forward, saying gently, "You can't keep waiting forever." Emily looked away, eyes burning, whispering, "I love him, Michael." Her voice cracked. Michael sighed, frustration hidden in his loyal concern. "He's not giving you what you deserve." Emily shook her head, clutching her mug as though it could anchor her. "Distance doesn't mean he doesn't love me," she insisted, though doubt twisted inside her. Michael's gaze softened. "You're worth more than silence." Emily's tears finally slipped free, falling into her untouched coffee. The world outside moved on, but she felt trapped between hope and despair. She whispered once more, "He promised me forever," clinging to Daniel's ghost across the ocean. Emily sat by her window as night swallowed the city, her phone silent on the desk. She whispered, "Why don't you call anymore, Daniel?" The silence pressed harder than any storm. Weeks ago his voice was her nightly lullaby, his laughter filling the empty hours. Now, the waiting grew heavier, each unanswered call another stone on her chest. She thought of the promises, birthdays together, shared sunsets, dreams of travel. Yet last week, her birthday passed in silence, no call, only a brief message, "Sorry, busy at work." Emily felt forgotten. Michael had asked her, "How many excuses will you forgive?" She had no answer, only a heart unwilling to let go. Fear whispered that Chloe's laughter filled Daniel's nights instead of hers. She clung to hope, but doubt sank deeper, pulling her under. The next morning, Emily checked her phone obsessively, refreshing messages until her thumb ached. She muttered, "Say something, Daniel." But nothing came. Each vibration was a phantom, each silence a wound. She thought of Chloe, who seemed to appear in every photo Daniel posted. Chloe's smile burned in her mind, a cruel reminder that someone else lived where she longed to be. Mrs. Carter's words resurfaced. Men drift when oceans keep them away. Emily clenched her jaw, whispering, "No, he's mine." But the truth gnawed. Daniel's replies had become shorter, colder, distant like the miles between them. Michael texted her, "Come out tonight, stop waiting." But Emily stayed by her phone, convinced Daniel would call. Hours passed. He didn't. Her heart sagged under the weight of absence. That evening, Emily sat in a cafe, her laptop open but work forgotten. Daniel's name blinked green online, yet no message came. She whispered, "You see me, but you don't reach for me." Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, wanting to type but fearing rejection. She scrolled through old photos, Daniel's arm around Chloe in too many, laughter in his eyes that used to belong to her. She remembered when he said, "You're my only one." The words felt brittle now. Michael called her, urging, "Stop torturing yourself," but she ignored him. Instead, she stared at Daniel's online status, a cruel green flame mocking her loyalty. Minutes stretched into hours. No words came. Her tea grew cold, her heart colder still. Emily walked home under the weight of heavy clouds, her chest tight. She replayed Daniel's last call, his voice rushed, distracted, as if she were a burden. He had said, "I'll call you tomorrow," but tomorrow never came. She whispered, "Why do you forget me so easily?" She remembered when they spoke for hours, sharing dreams, laughing until sunrise. Now she couldn't remember the last time he sounded happy with her. Michael's words haunted her. Love shouldn't feel like begging. She thought of Chloe again, closer to Daniel, sharing the pieces of him Emily longed for. The city around her moved in pairs, couples holding hands, kissing under umbrellas, while she trudged alone, drenched in rain and doubt. Her world was love and waiting. His world was everything but her. Back in her room, Emily scrolled through Daniel's social media, her heart plunging at every photo. He was at a party, Chloe at his side, their smiles effortless. Emily's hands shook as she whispered, "You promised me forever." The promises now felt like lies, words spoken to soothe distance but never meant to last. She remembered Daniel once saying, "No one could replace you." Yet Chloe's shadow replaced her in every corner of his life. Tears fell unchecked, splashing on her phone screen. She thought of Mrs. Carter's warning again, and Michael's painful truth. "He's slipping away, Emily." She whispered back to the silence, "I can't lose him." But her voice broke under the weight of reality. Hope was now a thread unraveling in her hands. Emily's phone finally lit up late at night, Daniel's name flashing. Her heart leapt, trembling as she answered. His voice was low, weary. "Emily, I need to tell you something." She sat upright, every nerve burning. Daniel sighed. "I didn't want to hide it, but Chloe and I have been spending time together, more than just friends." The words stabbed through her chest. Her breath caught, voice trembling. "You told me she was just a coworker." Silence stretched, then Daniel muttered, "I didn't mean to hurt you." Emily shook her head violently, tears streaming. "Didn't mean? You promised me forever." Daniel's sigh deepened. "I thought I could handle the distance. I thought I could keep us strong, but I'm failing." The line buzzed with static, heavy with betrayal. Emily whispered, "You've already failed." Emily's hands shook as she dropped the phone onto her bed, staring blankly. Her heart thundered in her chest. Michael's voice echoed in her mind. He's slipping away. She whispered, he's already gone. Memories flooded her. Every call, every laugh, every promise of forever. They unraveled now like lies. She remembered Daniel's words. No one could replace you. Yet Chloe had already replaced her. Anger rose through the pain, her fists clenching. I gave everything for you, Daniel, she muttered, tears falling onto the sheets. She thought of the sacrifices, missed nights out, endless waiting, sleepless calls. She had believed love could conquer oceans. But now, the ocean had swallowed her whole. The next day, Emily met Michael at their cafe. She sat rigid, eyes swollen. Michael frowned. You look shattered. What happened? Emily whispered. He chose her, Michael. Chloe. His jaw tightened, anger flashing. I told you he didn't deserve you. Emily shook her head, voice trembling. I wanted to believe him. I needed to. Michael leaned closer. He lied, Emily. That's not love. That's selfishness. Emily's tears spilled again, hot and bitter. But I can't stop loving him. Michael's hand rested over hers gently. Love shouldn't destroy you. She pulled back, clutching her mug. Then why does it still feel like I need him? Michael's silence carried the truth. Sometimes love was nothing more than chains. Later, Emily scrolled through Chloe's social media, her stomach twisting. Photos of Daniel and Chloe filled the screen. Smiles, dinners, casual intimacy. She whispered, it's real. She threw the phone aside, collapsing onto her bed. Mrs. Carter's voice from weeks ago returned, sharp and merciless. Love across distance is nothing but a dream. Emily had fought against it then, but now reality crushed her. I built my life around a lie, she muttered. Rage flared, hot and consuming. She hurled a pillow at the wall, sobbing into the emptiness. I wasn't enough. The confession broke her further than Daniel's betrayal. That night, Daniel called again, his tone weary. Emily, I don't want to lose you completely. Her voice cracked. You already chose her. Daniel pleaded, it's complicated. I still love you. Emily's laughter was sharp, broken. Love doesn't look like this, Daniel. Silence followed, stretching like a blade. He whispered, I don't know what I want. Emily's tears fell silently. Then I can't be your second choice. Her words trembled, but they were true. Daniel sighed. I never meant for this. Emily closed her eyes, whispering, you meant enough to destroy me. She ended the call, the final click echoing like a death knell. Her heart was still chained, but cracks of strength began to show. Emily's phone buzzed again, Daniel's name lighting the screen. Her breath caught as she answered, her voice raw. Why are you calling? Daniel whispered, because I can't let you go. Rage burned through her tears. You already did, Daniel. You chose Chloe. Silence throbbed on the line, his sigh heavy. I don't love her the way I love you. Emily laughed bitterly, voice cracking. Love doesn't abandon me on my birthday. Love doesn't leave me waiting every night. Her words struck sharp, each one a wound. Daniel muttered, I was scared of losing you, of failing us. Emily shouted, you failed the moment you lied. Her voice trembled but grew stronger. I gave everything, Daniel. You gave me silence. His reply broke with desperation. Emily, please don't leave me. She whispered, you already left. Emily paced the room, fists clenched, voice trembling as she argued with Daniel. You promised forever. His reply cracked. I thought I meant it. She shouted, you don't break forever, Daniel. Not for her. Her voice shook walls, echoing with years of suppressed pain. Daniel tried. It was never about her. It was about the distance. Emily's chest heaved, fury and grief colliding. No, it was about choices. You chose comfort. You chose lies. Silence followed, heavy and sharp. Emily collapsed onto her bed, phone pressed to her ear. Do you know what it's like to wait every night for someone who never comes? Daniel's whisper broke. I'm sorry. Emily's sob cracked into rage. Sorry won't heal me. Sorry won't erase Chloe. His silence was her answer. The call continued, Emily's voice raw. Do you even remember the nights I stayed awake for you? The mornings I stumbled into class because I believed in us? Daniel's silence cut deeper than words. She choked. I lost myself waiting for you. He muttered, Don't say that, you're still mine. Her body shook with rage. Yours? While you hold her hand? While you smile for her? Her voice cracked. Daniel's tone hardened. Emily, you don't understand. She's here. You're not. The words gutted her. Tears blurred her vision, her voice breaking into a scream. So distance excused betrayal? I was here, Daniel. Every night, every call, every breath was for you. The line buzzed with his shallow breathing. She whispered, trembling, And you still chose her. Daniel's voice rose now, sharp and defensive. I didn't plan this, Emily. I never wanted it. Emily's sob turned to fury. But you let it happen. You let her take my place. Her hand trembled violently as she gripped the phone. I built my life around us, Daniel. Every choice I made was for us. His silence screamed guilt. Emily's voice cracked into a whisper. You destroyed everything. He muttered, I still love you. She spat back. Then why do I feel abandoned? She pressed her forehead against the wall, chest heaving. Love doesn't hurt like this. Daniel begged. I need you, Emily. She whispered, voice hollow. You only need me when it's convenient. The truth scorched her throat, leaving only ashes. The final minutes of the call were chaos, tears and fury colliding. Emily shouted, You don't get to break me, and then begged me to stay. Daniel's voice shook. I'll change, I'll prove it. Emily's sob broke into a hollow laugh. Promises don't heal wounds. His voice cracked. I don't want to lose you. Her body trembled, yet her voice steadied. You already have. Silence rang louder than screams, pressing into her bones. She whispered, Goodbye, Daniel, and ended the call. Phone fell from her hand onto the floor with a dull thud. Emily collapsed, sobbing into her hands. The confrontation had torn her open, but somewhere inside, she felt a flicker of strength, the first ember of freedom rising from ashes. Morning light crept through Emily's blinds as she sat in silence, her phone still on the floor where she dropped it. Her eyes were swollen, her chest hollow. She whispered, It's over, the words tasting foreign on her tongue. She remembered the endless nights she had waited for Daniel, the sacrifices she made, the promises she clung to. Now they lay shattered around her like glass. Michael's voice rang in her memory. He's not worth your tears. For the first time she considered he might have been right. The pain was sharp, but within it stirred something unexpected, a flicker of clarity. Emily wrapped her arms around herself, rocking slightly. I'll survive this, she murmured, though her voice cracked. The truth was heavy, but it was hers. Emily walked through the park later that day, leaves swirling in the autumn wind. Couples strolled hand in hand, their laughter sharp reminders of what she had lost. Her chest tightened, but she kept walking. She whispered, I can't let this break me. Memories of Daniel's voice still stung, but Michael's words echoed louder. You deserve someone present. Emily's steps steadied, her breath deeper. She sat on a bench, watching children chase each other across the grass. For a moment she felt the sun warm her face, the air lighter than the weight she carried. The ache was still there, but she realized pain could coexist with survival. She thought, I'm still here. That truth, small but solid, anchored her in the storm. That evening, Emily sat across from Michael in their familiar cafe. He leaned forward, concern etched in his face. How are you holding up? She gave a small, tired smile. Broken, but breathing. Michael nodded slowly. That's enough for now. Emily stirred her coffee, absent-mindedly, her voice low. I wasted so much time waiting. Michael replied firmly. It wasn't wasted. You loved Emily. You gave your heart. That's never wasted. Tears welled again, but this time they felt cleansing, not suffocating. She whispered, I don't know who I am without him. Michael's gaze softened. You're stronger than you think. Emily inhaled deeply, holding his words like a fragile gift. For the first time she believed him. Later that night, Emily stood before her mirror, her reflection almost unrecognizable. Her eyes were tired, but in them was a trace of fire. She whispered, I'm not just the girl who waited. For months, she had defined herself by Daniel's calls, his messages, his absence. Now she touched her reflection gently, seeing herself alone, not incomplete, but wounded and whole, all at once. Mrs. Carter's voice came back, stern but not cruel. A heart must choose wisely. Emily finally understood. She unclenched her fists, allowing herself to breathe deeply. The scars would remain, but so would the strength growing beneath them. She whispered again, steadier this time, I'll be okay. Emily sat at her desk, journal open, pen trembling in her hand. She wrote slowly, words pouring like confession. I loved you, I lost you, but I won't lose myself. Tears dotted the page, but her hand didn't stop. She paused, whispering, this is my goodbye. Closing the journal, she placed it beside her phone. For the first time, she didn't pick the phone up. Instead, she turned off the screen, the silence now hers, not Daniel's. She exhaled, a deep breath that felt like release. The ache lingered, but within it was space. Space for healing, for future, for herself. She whispered one last time, I'll live again. The words hung in the air, fragile but real, marking the beginning of her survival. Emily walked along the riverside at dusk, wind biting against her skin. Her phone sat heavy in her pocket, but she didn't reach for it. She whispered, no more waiting. For months she had lived in the shadow of Daniel's silence, chained by promises that broke with distance. Tonight, the chains began to fall away. Couples passed her, laughter soft against the sound of rushing water. For once she didn't ache to belong among them. Instead, she closed her eyes and let the cold wind remind her she was alive. Daniel's voice haunted her still, every I love you now tasting like poison. She pressed her arms around herself and whispered, love isn't supposed to break me. The ache was still there, but beneath it, a seed of strength was finally taking root. At home, Emily sorted through a box of mementos, letters, photos, ticket stubs from video calls printed on paper. Each piece was a memory, once sacred, now bittersweet. She whispered, you were everything I held on to. She held a photo of Daniel, close, his smile once her light. Now it cut like glass. Her tears fell onto the paper, blurring inked words. With trembling hands, she set the photo aside. One by one, she placed the memories back into the box, closing the lid slowly, like burying a part of herself. Goodbye, she whispered. It wasn't just to Daniel. It was to the version of herself who lived only to wait. The silence in the room was deep, but for the first time, it didn't suffocate. It felt like space to breathe. The next day, Emily visited Mrs. Carter, her hands trembling as she sat across the table. Mrs. Carter studied her face, then said, you look different. Emily whispered, I ended it. The words felt heavy, but true. Mrs. Carter's stern eyes softened for the first time. Sometimes letting go is the only way to survive. Emily's tears shimmered, but she smiled faintly. I thought love would make me whole, but it nearly destroyed me. Mrs. Carter reached across, squeezing her hand gently. You're stronger now. Emily inhaled sharply, as if claiming her own strength for the first time. She realized even in disapproval, Mrs. Carter's voice had always held truth. The ache remained, but it no longer consumed her. She whispered softly, I'll learn to live without him. That evening, Emily met Michael once more. He studied her carefully, noticing the calm in her eyes. You're different, he said softly. Emily gave a small nod. I finally let him go. Michael smiled faintly, relief flickering. I'm proud of you. Emily exhaled, the weight on her chest lighter. It still hurts, she admitted. Michael leaned closer, voice steady. It will for a while, but hurt fades, you won't fade. Emily's lips trembled into the faintest smile. I don't feel free yet, but I feel like I'm moving. Michael raised his coffee in quiet salute. To moving forward. Emily clinked her cup gently against his, her eyes damp but alive. It wasn't triumph, but it was the beginning of something, herself. That night, Emily lay in bed, her phone dark beside her. She didn't wait for messages, didn't hope for calls. She whispered into the stillness, "I'm done." Tears slid quietly, but they no longer drowned her. She remembered the nights spent waiting, the promises of forever, the lies that unraveled. Each memory hurt, but now they belonged to the past. She stared at the ceiling, breathing deeply, as if reclaiming her own space. For the first time, silence felt like peace, not punishment. She reached out and turned off her phone completely, leaving the darkness whole. Her final whisper cut through the quiet. And that was the last time his name ever lit up my phone. The words carved deep, final, unforgettable.